Get ready with me while I tell you about my stalker from Sephora. Not gonna lie, I'm getting sick right now, but I thought I'd do a story time. Being a woman, we have to be careful where we go alone, especially when it comes to secluded places, but I've never felt weird about going to certain stores by myself. That was until before this interaction. So I had gone into Sephora because I had needed some makeup products, and I was bending down, I was squatting on the ground, and this guy came up behind me, and he just stood there for a little bit. I would like to say that I'm aware of my surroundings, but he did kind of come up behind me, and I just thought that, maybe he was looking around. Obviously, I was in the moment. I was just vibing, but he stood there. I'm not over exaggerating for I would say 5 minutes. But he finally moved out of the way, and he's like, "Excuse me." I didn't make eye contact at all. I was just like, "You're good," and I immediately got up and walked away. You know when you're walking and you just have that sense that someone's following you? I had that sense. Everywhere I would go, he would be there within the next minute. Let's describe this guy for you. I would say he was about 5'10", light skin, he was probably in his mid-20s. Those of you that might know me might say, "Oh my gosh, Keely, that's our exact type." But this guy was unattractive and he's creepy. Because I'd finished getting all my stuff and I went up to the cashier and I couldn't see the guy around anymore, so I thought it was good. As I'm walking up to the register, let's name this guy Apple. Apple comes in front of me, looks at me up and down and says, "Did you find everything all right?" There I am standing like, what is going on? I give him a little head nod and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And he is like, is he trying to pay for all my stuff? He moves out of the way and I go up to the cashier and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" We start chatting and she compliments my nails. I was like, "Oh, let me put you onto my nail girl. She's amazing." I put my stuff down and I pull out my Instagram and I show that girl the Instagram page of my nail lady. And in fact, the guy is standing right by me just watching me doing this whole interaction, this whole thing. And I proceed to put my phone down while the Instagram's still up and I'm just checking out and I'm just yapping with the girls across from me. You would have thought it was this guy's first day on earth because the way that he was looking at me, it was just like, calm down, put it back in your pants. As I leave, he gives me a little, "Have a good day," and I give him a little, "All right" nod. Once I'm in my car, I see him walk out of Sephora, no bags in hand, and he just goes to his car and he sits there. I honestly didn't know what to do because I was like, okay, is he gonna follow me? So I just sat in my car for a little bit and he was there the entire time until finally he just drove away. I was like, thank God I don't want to have to deal with this ever again. So I'm driving home and I see a notification pop up on the IG and it's, "You got a new follower." And guess who it was? I clicked on it and lo and behold, it was him. Now this guy is verified on Instagram. He has 500K on TikTok. He's got a lot of followers on Instagram. So this is where my head's going like, what's going on here? So me, being the curious person that I am, I shoot him a DM. I said, "So how'd you get my Instagram?" He responds, "You popped up on my people you may know." First of all, that's not how Instagram works. So no, that was a lie. Is it not okay to follow you? Alright, buddy. Wait, am I tripping? I swear I saw you earlier today. Hold on. He's playing stupid. Sephora? I said, "Don't play dumb. I just want to know how you got my Instagram." And it clicked. I put my phone down when I was checking out, so he must have saw my Instagram and taken a picture of it and something, and then that's how he got it. At this point, I was a little creeped out, I'm not gonna lie. He then proceeded to say this, "Like I said, you popped up on the people I know and I followed you. The beautiful woman I seen at Sephora did not look like the girl in these pics. Her hair is up and her outfit was on point. But now that I know that it was you, it makes sense that your profile popped up on my page. Trust and believe it's not that deep. Love, I have over 200,000 followers. People I run into pop up all the time on my recommendations. I do respect the feisty though, 100%. To be that small, you're standing on business, LOL. So nice meeting you." I did not respond to him. He got so defensive that I did not want him, even though he had that many followers. So he tried to take a dig at me, which is absolutely hilarious, and then I left him unread. And he still slides up on almost every single story that I post. Exhibit A. Exhibit B. Well, ladies, just be careful what you do when you go out and who you share your socials with.
When I was in fourth grade, for the first time in my life, I experienced subtle racism from a teacher. And to be quite honest, that is what drove me to become a teacher. I honestly didn't even realize what happened to me in that moment was racism, a very loud microaggression, until I got a little bit older. And I decided to send that teacher an email describing my experience. So this is what happened. I'm going to let you guys listen to the email. So I'm going to read it. So I'm going to be looking off to the side. You were my art teacher 23 years ago, and I talk about you often, but not for the reason you think. You know, your classroom was the first time I recognized that I was experiencing racism. You see, my mother was a teacher at the school, and I was a straight A student. I have never in my life been in trouble in school. You had just bought a Crayola crayon maker in the year 2002. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world, but you had rules. You could make your own crayon only if you had good behavior in art. I was the only black kid in my class. I named my teachers and I said, they were my teachers and I loved them so much. I couldn't wait to go to 5th grade and be inside where they had the lockers because we were out in the trailers that year and the inside 5th graders got to go inside and they had lockers. It was a K-8 school. But that year, my mom told me we would be moving to Virginia and going to 5th grade and that school never came. Every time we had art, you would pick 4 students to go and make a crayon because the crayon machine had 4 slots. We only had 23 students in our class. I know this because I still have my class picture from that year. I'm still friends with some of those kids in my class 23 years later. So 4 students, art once a week. You would think I would get chosen. Some kids got to go twice, some even 3 times, and me, not even once. On the last day of school, we had art. What a coincidence. I still did not get picked. I walked up to you and I said, I never got to make a crayon this year, and today is the last day of school. You said, oh, well, you can just do it next year. My response, but I'm moving to Virginia next year. You didn't even say anything back. You just looked at me and turned your back. I went home that day crying and told my mom what you said. She went to Walmart that night and bought me a Crayola crayon maker. And you know the funny thing is, I didn't even like it. It ended up in the Goodwill when we made the move that summer. But just imagine, the only black kid in the class intentionally ignored and passed up for a reward based on behavior. My behavior was never an issue. You know why? Because bad behavior has never been accepted in my house. Both of my parents, who have been married now for 39 years, were young adult professionals with multiple college degrees. My older brother was busy in high school, making district honors in band and basketball and honor roll too. My parents instilled greatness early on in me. The sad part is, you may have been the first teacher who displayed subtle racism to me, but you were not the last. But you being the first, I will never forget. And it's actually a story I share often because now I too am a teacher. But wait, let me list some of the accomplishments I have achieved since you denied me that crayon because of my behavior. Graduated from high school in 2011 with honors. Went to college on an athletic academic scholarship for softball, graduated magna cum laude. I'm fluent in Spanish and I've traveled to over 10 countries. I got to study abroad in Palermo, Greece. I received my Master's of Arts in Teaching Elementary Education in 2018, and I received my Master's in Education and Administration and Supervision in 2025. I was the Teacher of the Year for my county and our region, and I am a current gifted teacher, education teacher, on track to be an assistant principal. Just to think, that passion for making sure Black and brown kids never had to experience what I went through came from a denial of a single crayon because for the whole year, my behavior didn't earn me a chance to make a crayon. I truly hope no other child has to experience this in your classroom, but in a weird turn of events, it became a blessing because fighting that type of treatment became my passion. And a thought-provoking story at the many professional developments I have conducted sharing that story. It wasn't until I think it was my second year teaching that I realized that that was racism and it was a microaggression. And it's something that I think about all the time being a teacher myself because we always start off the year doing cultural proficiency development and making sure that we're not treating our kids this way. And I go back and think about that and it's so subtle, but that has a long-lasting impact on a child. And just to think about how, as teachers, we have to make sure that no matter what it is, because when you think about microaggressions, it doesn't come in the form of only racism. Microaggressions can be gender-based, it can be economic-based, it can be any type of bias you have based on your personal bias. So, especially as educators, I think stories like that are important to share and to know because It happens a lot more than you think, and the impact is a lot greater than you think. There's some food for thought.
Get ready with me while I tell you about an Instagram account that's been catfishing as me for 3 years. Honestly, the story is a little bit hard for me to talk about because there is a part of the story that I have been keeping a secret. This is honestly a really difficult story for me to talk about because there is a part of this that's very private and I've been keeping very private since I found out about it, but I'm gonna get into that today. I feel like it's a really important thing to talk about because I feel like a lot of girls go through this, and especially now with AI, I feel like it's very common. Anyways, to give you guys some context, I was reached out to by some random girl on Instagram who was based in Qatar in 2021, so that's 3 years ago. So she texted me and she was basically like, hey, I know this is a really weird question, but is this account you? Because she's using your pictures and she's been texting my boyfriend, trying to cause drama, trying to, just like talk to him, and it's really bugging me. And this was the first I heard about this. So I pressed on the account and I see this girl, she has like 100 followers at the time or 200 followers, and it's just a bunch of highlights of my face, my photos, and her name's like Eliana Bakri. So I reply back to the girl, I'm like, hey, I had no idea this was happening, like obviously it's not me. The Eliana girl on Instagram, the one catfishing as me, she had in her bio the Qatar flag plus the Moroccan flag, I think it was at the time. I'm Persian, I'm not even Moroccan, I don't even live in Qatar, I live in Dubai. But anyways, all of this is besides the point. So this girl kind of tells me a little bit about how this account has been, trying to text her boyfriend and has been texting a lot of other people in Qatar for the last few months, but this was the first I was hearing about it. Now, at the time, I think I was at 1,000 followers on Instagram, which is still a lot, but it wasn't enough for people to recognize that that's a fake account. So I think that's why no one reached out to me prior to this conversation I had. So obviously I text this girl because she's a girl who's using my face and creating problems in a different country for me, even though it's not me. I text her and she blocks me immediately. And I did try and take the nice approach. I was like, hey girl, like you're using my pictures. Honestly, I don't really feel comfortable with that. And she just blocks me. So then a few days later, I decided to text her again, but on my fake Instagram, or like my Finsta, my spam, whatever you want to call it, I took the not so nice approach and I was like, basically, I'm going to take legal action against you if you don't take this down. Shocker, she blocked me again. And I ran out of accounts at this point, so I was like, okay, well, the only thing I can really do right now is get people to report this account and hope Instagram will take it down. So I did, but unfortunately Instagram never took down the account despite like a bunch of people, reporting it and me reporting it, emailing Instagram, nothing happened, the account stayed up. And throughout the years, this account grew and it's over 1,000 followers now. And of course, throughout the years, again, I got so many messages regarding this account, her trying to make problems and whatever. But early on last year, I got a message from this guy and he goes, hey, is this you? And again, like the same explanation, hey, no, it's not me. This account has been catfishing as me. Please report it if you can. And she's like, yeah, I figured it's not you, but I thought it was a real person and I've been texting her back and forth and she's been trying to meet up with me. And he goes on to send me a bunch of screenshots of this girl trying to convince him to meet up with her while he thought it was a real account. And he was trying to cancel on her because he was starting to be a little like sketched out, but she was like, no, like come over, no one's home, like all of these weird things. So he somehow found my account and he sent me these screenshots and I was like, that's so weird. And we kind of connected the dots and I think we realized that the person behind the account is probably most likely a man who's trying to, use some girl's photos, which is me in the scenario, to get men to meet up with her so he can either rob them or like, get some money out of them or something. That's what I assumed anyway. Anyways, again, whole process of me trying to get this account taken down, it's not getting taken down. A few months go by. Now this is where the story gets a little difficult for me to talk about. So throughout the years, I'm just kind of every once in a while posting on my Instagram story, hey guys, please report this account. It's not being taken down and whatever. I'm just doing what I can. One random day, this account is not in my mind at all. I'm posting on my Snapchat story as per usual. And this random guy replies to me. He's like, hey, aren't you that girl who got her leaked? And let me just be clear now, which is why I didn't really want to talk about the story because no one's really going to believe me. But I have never sent a photo of that sort ever in my life. To the point, I thought he was joking at first and I was like, oh yeah, that's me, like sarcastically. And he was like, no, I'm serious. Hold on. And he proceeds to send me this edited ass photo of my face on some random girl's body. And I'm just staring at it in shock because it's not me. I know myself, obviously. I know I've never sent that picture. Nothing in my background is like has anything to do with me. The body doesn't even look like mine. And I'm sat here telling this guy, like, that's not me. And he's like, that's literally you. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's me, but it's not me. And he doesn't believe me. And I keep asking him, where did you get this photo? And he was like, oh, like some random exposing Snapchat account, like posted it. And so he sends me the out of the account, and I go on the story and it's there. And I'm just feeling so lost at this point. Like, I don't know what to do, because this photo's not me. But if I tell anyone that's not me, obviously they're not gonna believe me unless they know me. The guy's like not wanting to get involved, so he just unadds me. And I spend the next 3 days, I kid you not, guys, just crying, because I'm like, if I tell my mom, what if she doesn't believe me? My boyfriend at the time, he knew about it, and he was like, obviously that's not you, because I showed him the picture. My best friend, I showed her the picture. She's like, obviously that's not you. Like, people who know me know that's not me. It's not even something I would do. Of course, no shame to anyone who does. It's just personally, I've never been that type of person. And I couldn't do anything because I don't know who the Snapchat account belonged to. I didn't know who the guy was who reached out to me about it. I didn't know who created the photo. I don't know who spread the photo. I didn't know anything about the situation. Until one day, my mom overheard me crying and she kept pushing me. And finally, I told her and I showed her the photo. And thank God, like, she was like, okay, well, I know my daughter. This is not you. This is clearly edited. It's also a very bad quality picture. It's nothing like it's not my house background, nothing in my room's background. So she could tell it wasn't me. I honestly went through such a hard time with that photo because even though I don't think anyways a lot of people saw that photo, I didn't know how many people saw it. I didn't know who created it. I didn't know anything about the situation, so I was kind of just left in suspense. My mom was a really big help through all of that, and she even went as far as to take legal actions against this photo, but unfortunately, like, they weren't really followed up on. But that's a completely other story. Anyway, so months go by. I've officially, like, accepted the fact that I can't do anything about this photo. Like, it's out there. Whoever edited it, like, got away free. I'm kind of just processing. And, you know, after a while, I kind of calm down and I forget about it. Until last summer, this account gets brought up again. And the person who actually received this photo to begin with told me they received it from this catfish account. So aside from this account terrorizing me and exploiting me for the last 3 years, it went as far as to take a photo of some photo of my face and put it on some girl's random body, and she sent it to men for money. I was on vacation when I found out about all of this, and I was just like, I started crying so much. I honestly felt so destroyed in that second, and because the account is based in Qatar and I don't know who it is, I don't know anything about this account, I never could actually take proper legal action against the person who made this photo or this account. But yeah, I kind of just lived with that fact. There was nothing I could do. This photo was made, it was out there, and all that matters is that I know and the people around me know that it's not me, and if it ever does reach anyone, then that's it. But the reason I'm basically talking about this is that I saw a lot of people online, especially recently, including Taylor Swift, including Brooke Monk, and a lot of others who were kind of a victim to this fake thing. It was honestly really hard for me to deal with, and it still is, and I hate talking about it. And I was so afraid to tell anyone when all of this happened because I was so scared people wouldn't believe me. That's why I'm talking about this now, because it was something that was really hard for me to go through, especially alone, and I feel like people should know that they're not alone in these situations. So if you were ever falsely accused of anything, or if something went around of you that you didn't want to, or if someone was exploiting your pictures, then I just want you to know that you're not alone. There's some messed up people in this world, and it's honestly really hard to accept the fact that sometimes certain situations are out of our control, but at the end of the day, we grow from them, we learn from them. So anyways, that's kind of all I have to say about this story. I really hope you guys enjoyed the story, and even if my story helped even one person, that's still one person who I helped. So bye guys.
Story time about man from hell, ex-boyfriend-ish. I don't even know. Grab your popcorn because you're about to be sat. I've got all the stuff on here too, so I don't miss anything. I was gonna do a get ready with me, but I can't multitask, so it's just gonna be a story time. Alright, let's get started. So, I'm gonna start off by saying I had this man on Snap. We had Snap back and forth, but not like, we just snap back and forth once in a while. I don't know how long I had him on Snap for, but then one day he texted me and was like, "You're so fine." And I texted back and I said, "No, you." And then he said, "I'm gonna take you on a date." And so I was super excited because at that point I had never been on like an actual like date. And so I was like, oh my god, like, of course I'll go on a date with you. And he was like, okay, I'll pick you up Saturday, we'll go get coffee, and I am going to be paying for it. And then I was like, yes, of course, like, this is the man of my dreams. Assertive, knows what he wants, like, what more could you ask for? So of course I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. Okay, timeline, I think this was like a Wednesday, I want to say, when we were talking about the date, and the date was Saturday. So yeah. Okay, so we kept texting and we had conversation like every day, and he tells me that he told his mom and dad and sister about me, which I should have known was a red flag, but I tried to convince myself that it was cute and that he just like liked me that much, that like he was super excited, which was dumb of me. Red flags are flagging. Also, I need to preface that this man talked a lot about himself and how much money he had, and basically everything was like handed to him from his parents, and he would throw in like little things to brag about himself. Like, we would be talking about something and he'd be like, oh yeah, like I traveled there, oh yeah, like I am going to be traveling there, oh I need a passport so that I can travel here. Or it was like, yeah, I modeled for that brand, like I model. Like, I was like, I don't care, like I want to like someone as a person, not for anything else. But that's like all he talked about was himself, which, another red flag. So anyways, I think it's like Thursday now, and we were texting, this is like at night, and I like sarcastically invited him over. I was like, oh, like I really wish you were here, or like something like that. I need to stop saying like, oh my god. So then he was like, wait, I can actually come over. And I said, okay, like, come over, I don't care. His apartment is like a 20-minute walk from mine on campus, so it was easy for him to come over too. So he came over, and then we sat in the living room the entire night with my roommate talking. Like, we just sat there talking the whole night. Now it's Friday, he went to class, and we planned a 2-man for that night with my best friend, who was my roommate, and then his roommate. He had one other roommate, so we were doing like a 2-man situation. So the 2-man situation, like, we went over to their apartment, we ended up going out to the bars with them. They were so nice, so nice. They paid for all of our drinks, and we just sat and talked. Like, they were really, really nice. He even offered to pay for DoorDash afterwards too, if I wanted anything. Now, here's another thing where the red flags are flagging, and I just was being dumb. So, at the bar, we were sitting upstairs at a table, all 4 of us, and he takes my purse and, like, puts it on, and then asks me for, like, a what's in my bag. So, I open the purse, and I start putting things down on the table, and he takes a photo of it and posts it on his private story. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, this, like, he wants to show his friends, I thought. No, I thought wrong. He was trying to make another girl jealous, which he did in fact do, because I think she swiped up on it. I don't know what she said, but she swiped up on it and was like, is this another girl or something? And that's exactly what he wanted her to do. Then he also took a picture of me and sent it to her, and they ended up unadding each other because of it, I think. Something like that. And he told me about this. And he also took a photo of us and sent it to his dad too. So then Friday night, my roommate and I ended up sleeping over at their place, and the next morning is Saturday, the day where we were supposed to go on our date. We wake up, and then the 4 of us just like went to breakfast. Instead, we all just went to breakfast. Then they dropped us off back at our apartment after breakfast, but they paid for our breakfast, so super nice. So then it's Saturday, and he tells me he's going to a Packers game with his dad. The Packers game is like 4.5 hours from here, so we had to drive there and then drive back. So he drove there Saturday and the Packers game was Sunday. And he was like, we'll hang out afterwards or after I get back because I need to see you again. And while he was at the Packers game, we texted so much. He was saying how sorry he was if he couldn't text me because his service was so bad. There were so many people, but we were texting the whole time. Then he had remembered how much that I liked 7 Brew. And the closest 7 Brew to us in college is like an hour and a half away. So I haven't had it in, so like I can't have 7 Brew. And he realized that he was driving through a town that has 7 Brew on his way back home. So he asked if I wanted 7 Brew, and I was like, of course I want 7 Brew. Of course. And then he offered to get it for me and my roommate, which was insane. But he got it for us, and then he sent me photos, and so we had the 7 Brew. And then it ended up spilling in his car. I don't really know what happened there, but it was the thought that counts. So I was like, oh, don't even worry about it. Like, at least you had it. Thought that counts. I was still super happy about it still. Okay, so once he came back, he immediately came over here and we hung out again. Then we hung out again the next night. This is Monday night. And this is where I started to fall for things, which I should not have done. I keep saying that, but it gets bad. So we're sitting in my bed, like, having conversation, and he goes, so what are you wanting out of this? And I look at him and I'm like, well, I don't know, like, what are you wanting out of this? And he's like, no, I asked you first. And so I think I said something along the lines of, I want a boyfriend really bad, I'm just like waiting for the right person. And then he goes, well then what are we waiting for? Will you be my girlfriend? We had met Thursday, this is Monday night. My dumb ass said yes. Looking back at it, I'm so stupid. Also, he never really asked questions about me. He only talked about himself, and sometimes he would respond back to me and not even say anything about what I had said. You know, it was like weird. Also, he would say things that just didn't really line up, but I convinced myself that I like gaslit myself into thinking that I was thinking about it wrong. So now we're dating, and it's Tuesday, and it's Thanksgiving break, so I'm getting ready to go home. We spend every second together because we were gonna miss each other while I was going home, because I live 4.5 hours away and he lives here, so we were gonna be far apart for like a little bit. So he helps me pack my car, and then I drive home, and the whole time he's like, drive safe, like, I'm so worried, I really hope you make it there okay. Telling me how much he misses me already. Let me know if you want part 2, because this is a long-ass story. Okay, here's part 2. Okay, so now I'm home for a break. We FaceTime, like, all the time. And he sends me money, and he's like, go get yourself 7 Brew, because I have 7 Brew at home. And then he also was like, you need to tell me every time you're going to 7 Brew, and I'll just send you money for it. And I was like, no way, this is insane. So, he also said that he told his entire extended family at Thanksgiving, which was, like, everyone, about me. Which is, like, kind of I mean, at this point, we've been dating maybe 4 days, and he had told his entire family, and he was like, have you told your family what they say? And I was like, no, I have not told them yet. I have not, because I didn't want to bring it up. Like, I've known you for not even a week, and we're dating. So I drive back here to school after being home, and he comes over, and he has flowers for me, and I'm just so excited, like, I'm over the moon, because I've never really gotten flowers from anyone, so it just made me so happy, and we were so excited to see each other. And then he tells me that I need to meet his parents and sister, and that his dad has a birthday dinner coming up, and that I was so invited, and I needed to come. So of course I was like, yeah, like, I'll do that, I'd love to do that. Also, a few little other things. We planned on going to a Packers game together. He had the tickets, was so excited to go to that, and he also had already bought me my Christmas present. We'd known each other for a week, bought me my Christmas present, spent, I think, like $500 on it. $500. Literally, it's so crazy. So back to meeting his parents. So we planned that. He picked me up to go meet his parents. We went to his dad's birthday dinner, and it went really good. It did, I think. While I was with his parents, some weird things were happening. So they asked me, they were like, let's name him Brendan. Okay, so they were like, Brendan's only in 3 classes. When we went to school, like, we were supposed to be in, like, 5. How many are you in? And I was like, oh, I'm in 5 classes. Like, he should be in 5 too. That's crazy. And they look at him and they're like, you're only in 3 classes? And I go, yeah, and next semester he signed up for 9 credits, 12 as a full-time student, and if you want to graduate on time, you need 15 credits. Oh boy, did that make them pissed. They were like, what did I name him? Did I say Brendan? They were like, Brendan, you need to figure that out. Like, we're not paying for your school for you not to take enough credits. So they're paying his tuition, and it's not more money to add more classes. You just pay the tuition, you know? So he's like, yeah, I'm on the wait list for these classes. I just haven't gotten in, and then I'm going to take this English class. I have it all figured out, don't worry. And I was like, you never told me that. You told me you were taking 9 credits and then 1 in the summer. Also, the classes that he was in then, which was like 3, failing 2 of them. Had to go on academic probation because he failed them. How do you not have enough credits and you're still failing the classes? Like, you don't have that many classes and you're still failing them. Also, at his house, his mom was like, I did all your laundry, like, it's all folded there for you. Do you not do anything for yourself? And he would tell me how he was getting his parents' business. They were just giving it to him. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, it's worth, like, $1 million, or more than that, I think he said. I'm so excited, like, I'm gonna be making so much money. Oh my god, I forgot to say this. This is so crazy. On our way to his parents' house, he looks at me and he goes, by the way, my mom told me that I need to make sure you know we're rich. Like, who says that? I don't know. I don't think his mom would ever say that. So I think he made that up. Along with a lot of other things. Anyways, the dinner went really good. His mom even texted him afterwards and was like, we love her so much. So I was like really happy. And everything was still so good. Now it starts to get a little bit rocky. He starts being a little bit mean to me. He also tells me things like his roommate didn't actually ever like my roommate, and he thought she was ugly and annoying. We asked the roommate, he said he never said any of that. He would never say any of that because he's so nice. Also, I told him how much I loved sushi, so he planned a sushi dinner for us, like a date. And it ended up being another 2-man. It wasn't just us, it was another 2-man with his roommate and then a different girl. I'm not even gonna get into why it wasn't our original 2-man. That's another thing. Also, he told me he was going on spring break to the same place as me. Was he there? No, he was not there. Okay, so I don't even know where I am anymore. So this dinner, we go to this dinner, this 2-man dinner again, and we get sushi. The dinner's really fun. I'm kind of an awkward person, and they're all hometown friends. So they sit there talking about, like, hometown stuff, and I, like, couldn't really join the conversation because I didn't know much about any of it. And then after this dinner, I don't know what it was, but a flip just, like, switched in his head. He came over here, slept over, but he, like, was like, I'm going to bed, and just, like, went to bed in my bed. He started to be so mean. He had wanted to be hanging out with me every day, and then the next day, he didn't even really say bye. He just kind of left my apartment, and he, and then I said, are we gonna hang out tonight? And he's like, I think that we should have a night to ourselves. And I was like, okay. Also, he calls me and he's like, oh my gosh, like, I just had the best idea. I'm gonna fly to Kansas, I think it was, for a Packers game. I'm so excited, like, I'm gonna go to this. And I was like, oh, like, you're gonna just go to this? And I was like, I'm so excited for you, but I'm gonna miss you. And he was like, you'll be fine. Oh, okay. I'll be fine, I guess. Then he also said, oh, by the way, if there was a Packers game, theoretically, because my birthday's in February, so no Packers game. But he was like, if there was a Packers game on your birthday, I'd be at the Packers game, not hanging out with you. I just sat there like, did you really just say that to me? Then he said, but if you had no one to hang out with, you could possibly come with me to the game. Right. I'm getting all mixed up. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where I am anymore. Okay, so now he, like, said we needed our own space that night. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. Oh my gosh. Also, he would tell me about the amount, like, every day he said a girl would come up to him asking for his Snapchat, which I thought was a little bit weird, and I would say it all the time because nobody actually does that. Like, maybe every once in a while, but he wasn't hot enough for girls to come up to him every day and ask for his Snap. Like, nobody's ever come up to me, and I kept telling him that, like, nobody's ever come up to me, so it's so weird you get someone every day coming up to you. And he's like, I don't know, like, it just happens to me. Let me know if you want part 3, sorry.
Okay, here's part 3. Okay, so resuming. After he said he needed his space from me that night, I went out with my roommate. We went to the bar, and then I wasn't feeling like the greatest, so I came back here to my apartment, and he was like, I need to come over and get my Xbox, like, I need to come and get it. And I was like, okay, like, you can come and get it whenever you want, because he had left it here because we were playing on his Xbox. And he was like, can you just drive it over? And I was like, no, like, I don't feel good right now. I was not feeling good. I was like, no, like, you can come and get it. You left your Xbox here. You come and get it. So then he came over to get it, and then he came in here, grabbed it, and I'm sitting in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, like, nice to see ya. And he was like, oh, I'm just getting my Xbox, grabbed his Xbox and left, practically. I was like, oh, so this is weird. So then I tell my roommate, I'm like, he's being so weird, like something is going on. And he was being so mean, like so mean. I don't even know how to explain it, but he was just like being mean. And I just knew things were being weird. He stopped sending me as much as he would, like talking to me as much. So I was like, something is up. So I text him this whole thing, and I'm like, I am really keen on communication. Like, if there's something wrong, please just let me know. I don't want this to be dragged out. Like, if you don't like me anymore, not even just that, tell me everything that is going on in your head. I could care less. I would just like to know. Please just tell me. And he was like, no, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I would make you worry. Like, everything's so perfect. So then after getting that, I was like, oh, everything's fine. Like, maybe he's just, like, getting more comfortable with me. So I was like, okay. So then I was, like, fine. Then Saturday rolls around, and he's being weird again. And I'm like, so when are we going to be able to hang out? And he's like, I don't really know. Like, I have so much schoolwork I need to do. Mind you, 3 classes. He's like, we might be able to hang out tonight. Like, you can sleep over. And then I forget, like, what, but he was like, I need to go to the gym with my friends at, like, 7. So you can come over after. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'll do that. And then he was like, well, you can still come over, but I need to be up super early. So I said, I don't need to come over. I thought we could just hang out. Like, but it's fine. I don't need to come over. And then he was like, no, like, I want you to come over. Then why are you telling me you can come over, but I just need to be up early, like, all this stuff? Why are you saying that then if you still want me to come over? Like, what? So I go over there and we hang out. Like, it's like fine-ish. He still is being like weird. Oh my gosh, this hangout is like actually super weird, actually. Okay, so number one, when we were hanging out, we got into like, we were like play fighting or something, and he made me like slip and fall onto my ass. When I tell you it hurt, like I went right on the ground on my butt. It hurt so bad, and he just looked at me and was like, oops. Like, he didn't even say sorry, nothing. It was just like, oops. And then also, he decided he was gonna get high. So they're smoking a blunt out on the balcony that they have. And then he goes mute because people go mute when they're high. I guess he did that, which I don't even think he was that high. He was like pretending. But yeah, he goes mute, and then he like wouldn't talk to me. And I was sitting there like, this is kind of awkward. And his roommate was hanging out with us too. And then he's like pretending to be mute, and he looks at me and he goes, and I'm like, what does that mean? And he just goes, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what is he doing? He's being so weird. And his roommate goes, oh, white rabbit? And I just sit there like, and his roommate is like, you're talking about like the white rabbit's gonna come and get you? If you know, you know what I'm talking about. And then in my head, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I just start like thinking about it. I'm like, no way he just did that. Like, what? And then he just was like being mean, making some weird comments, like wasn't pretending like I was his girlfriend. I don't really know. And then we're like laying in his bed talking, and he proceeds to say, I just see you more of a best friend than a girlfriend. Don't take that the wrong way though. Literally almost started bawling. Like, almost started bawling. I was like, what is that even supposed to mean? What do you mean don't take that the wrong way? Obviously, you, like, that's something you should not be saying. Telling your girlfriend you see her more of as best friend than a girlfriend, why would you say, like, what? And he was like, but not actually, like, you're my girlfriend, like, not actually. And he would also make jokes. He was starting to make jokes about us breaking up. Like, a lot of jokes, to the point where his roommate was like, Brendan, don't joke about that. I named him Brendan in my last part. That's not his real name. Like, even his roommate was noticing that he was being, like, really mean to me. So, yeah, we're laying in bed, and he says that stuff to me, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, what? And then I start asking about that girl that he was trying to make jealous from part 1. I was like, oh, who is she? Like, I would like to know. So then he proceeds to tell me that she was a girl that he had been talking to prior to me, and that they had been talking for 4 months. So then I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, why were you talking to her for 4 months, and then you decided to ask me to be your girlfriend after, like, what was it, 2 days, 3 days? And he was like, well, with you, I just kind of knew, like, I knew that you were who I wanted to be with, so it was easy for me to ask. But mind you, he, like, wouldn't look me in the eyes and was, like, laying in bed saying this. Like, it wasn't like we were actually, like, having a one-on-one conversation. He just was, like, nonchalant about it. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. And then he was like, yeah, and she's, like, low-key out to get you. Like, she's mad. And I was like, okay, like, I really hope I don't see her. She's a cheerleader on our, like, cheerleading team. Like, I was like, okay. Yeah, so anyways, he just was being weird, and we were just laying in his bed, like, having a conversation, and he's like, I need to go to bed, and I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So then I sat there, like, looking at him, and he's like, are you really gonna be like that? And I was like, yeah, I am, because whatever you just said, like, everything you've said to me is, like, not cool, like, and he just was, like, trying to go to bed. So then I get, like, super close in his face, and I just hover over, like, his face, and he's like, you're really not gonna let me go to bed, are you? And I was like, no, I am not. Then we start making out, and he tells me he loves me. Thank the Lord I did not say that shit back. I don't know you. I literally know nothing about you. How can you say that you love me? And you've been being mean as well. So sorry, but I'm gonna literally have to do a part 4. Okay, part 4, and I think this should be the last part. Okay, so also, I just want to mention that this man is clearly really insecure about himself. This is so embarrassing. He has a gym lifting account, posts TikToks on it. He has a gym lifting Instagram. He's, like, always changing, like, his profile pictures and, like, all this stuff, and he was always, like, needing validation about his body, and he never had a shirt on, like, that's how you know he's insecure. And he always had his pants, like, pulled down to the point where it looked like they were, like, gonna come off, and it just was like, you don't need to walk around like that 24/7. He also wore really, really tight skinny jeans that gave me the ick, and I literally couldn't do anything about it. Skinny jeans and cowboy boots, like, either underneath or over the top of them. Like, it was, like, really bad. Okay, anyways, back to the story. So I think I was at where he said he loved me, and I didn't say anything back, and yeah, that happened, and then I don't even remember what else happened that night, but we went to bed, and then, oh, I remember that same night, like, my sister FaceTimed me, and I was with him, and she talked to him, and she was like, don't do anything to my sister, like, all this stuff, and he's like, no, I would never. Right, damn, you're right, you would never. So basically Then the next morning rolls around, we wake up, and he takes me back to my apartment. And that was like the last I had seen him. Not like in that kind of way, but so then, oh my gosh, wait, get this. As he's driving me back to my place, right, he is telling me, he's like, I had the worst dream last night. Like, I had a dream you broke up with me over text. Isn't that so awful? And I was like, yeah, that's so, like, breaking up with somebody over text is so bad. Like, just sending a text message to break up with them, just do it in person. Like, why not do it in person? You know them. And he was like, yeah, like, I would never do that. That's so bad. That would make me so sad, like, all this stuff. I think at this point we had been dating, like, I knew him for almost 2 weeks, but we had only been dating for like a week and a half. This is so embarrassing. So then he says that to me in the car, and then he drops me off, and then he's like, okay, I'm going home for the day. I'm gonna go watch the Packers game because it's Sunday. I'm gonna go watch the Packers game at home with my dad. So I was like, oh, okay. Then he starts to be weird again, and he stops sending me as many videos as he used to, texting me as much. Like, it's just like us snapping photos back and forth, which we like never did. We always had conversation. So then I get in my head about it again. I type up a whole paragraph, and I'm like, okay, again, I'm going to say this. Communication is key. I need you to tell me if there is something wrong. Please just tell me. I don't want this dragged out. Like, I would rather have you tell me. Like, personally, I'd rather hear the hard truth than have things dragged out or not know exactly, like, your reasoning towards things, you know? So I was like, please just tell me. So then I send him that paragraph, and he goes, no, everything's so perfect, like, it's so fine, I'm so sorry. So then I felt stupid, and I was like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry. Why was I apologizing? I don't know, but I'm like, I'm so sorry, like, I like to overthink things. I just keep thinking about all the little stuff. So sorry. And he was like, no, you're all good, I do that too. Don't even worry, we're so good. So then I'm like, fine again, and I'm like, oh, we must be fine, like, it's fine. Then he goes back to, like, not really talking to me. He's still answering me, which is good, but not really talking to me. And then he calls me, and he's like, I'm bored, and I'm driving to Target. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we sit on the phone and talk, and then he goes into Target, and he's like, I'm going into Target, I'll call you back after. He comes out of Target, and he's like, you'll never guess who I just saw. And I was like, who? And he goes, my ex-girlfriend. And this is like a different ex-girlfriend that I haven't even talked about. Like, it's an ex-girlfriend who goes to school at Ole Miss. So I was like, why is she back? And I just thought it was so weird. And he was like, yeah, she tried to talk to me, and I just, like, kind of talked to her, but I was, like, weird about it. And I was like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. And to this day, I have no idea if that's true or not, but his roommate was, like, telling me, he was like, I would have heard about it if that was true, so I don't think it's true that he actually saw her. So, but that happened, and then he slept over at his house Sunday night. Then the next morning rolls around, and I wake up, and I have a text that says, we need to talk. And immediately, I knew exactly what was coming. So I text him back, and I say, I knew it. And this motherfucker proceeds to say, we took things too fast. We need to take a step back. I would like to be friends with you, and then we can see what comes of it. But I just think we took things too fast and need to take a step back. But I would love to still be friends with you. And at this point, I'm giving him one-word responses. We just talked about breaking up over text. What is he doing? Breaking up with me over text. How far away does he live? 20-minute walk, 5-minute car ride. And he's back at his apartment. So I'm giving him one word response. I'm like, I knew it. And then I also was like, break up over text, ? And he's like, I know, I'm sorry. He also proceeded to tell me, he goes, yeah, I talked about it with my mom this morning and I was crying in her arms, and I never cry. I know you were not crying in your mom's arms. Like, you don't need to tell me that. And I said to him, you were not crying in your mom's arms. And he's like, no, I was. Like, I swear. No, you weren't. No, you weren't. And I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. We did take things too fast. Like, I totally understand. And then I also say, but I need you to actually tell me where you would like us to go from here. Because your message says that you would like to be friends and see what can happen from that. But I don't believe that. And he was like, no, like, I actually do want to be friends with you. Like, you're so funny, and we were always doing stuff. Like, I enjoyed the time we had together, so I do still want to be friends. He did not, in fact, want to be friends. I can tell you that much. And I would have rather him had just said it, because then I wouldn't have looked like an idiot trying to be friends with, not like I didn't actually, but like. So then obviously I'm crying, and I'm like, well, fuck. And we just started snapping each other back and forth, and he started leaving me undelivered, of course, not really responding, not that we were talking, but like just photos back and forth. And then this motherfucker proceeds to send me a screenshot of his text messages with his mom, and his mom says, oh, make sure you let Sophia know that we loved her so much and we're so sad this didn't work out. Manipulative as fuck. Why are you sending me that? Like, genuinely, why are you sending me that? So, long story short, he ended up unfollowing me on everything. So I blocked him on Snapchat because I was like, we're not gonna be friends. And I came to find out the real reason he broke up with me was so that he could get back with the girl he was talking to before me. He had just used me to get her back in general, because if she saw him with another girl, she would want him again. They live in the same apartment complex too, so I don't know what was happening. Anyways, literally I've not talked to him since or thought about him. Cried for 2 days, and then I was like, not worth my time crying. His roommate's so nice though. He was apologizing and was like, I'm so sorry he did this to you. Like, I had a conversation with him because that's such a dick move. Yep. And that's my story. Thanks for watching.
Story time on how my mom died. So it was February 14, 2026 on Saturday. It was Valentine's Day, and my mom was throwing up from the food she had. She had this like type of Red Lobster shrimp and pasta, but it wasn't like from Red Lobster. It was like the ones that you buy at the store. It was like a fake version. She had called me asking me to help her to like to clean up the throw up because she was throwing up, and it wasn't like a regular throw up. Sorry, this sounds nasty. It was like a bloody throw up, and I couldn't clean it up because when I see throw up, I get like this sick feeling. So she said, don't worry about it, I'll clean it up. And then I went in my room and I just waited for like 5 minutes, and then she had called me and said, Jasmine, I don't feel well, I can't breathe. So I'm freaking out like, are you okay? Are you sure you can't breathe? She's like, yeah, I can't breathe. She's doing this type of feel. I'm like, oh my goodness, she sounds like she can't breathe. So I take her to her bedroom. She sits on her bed. I call 911. They get there. They hook up to these machines or whatever, and they asked me her medical history. I told them everything, and they were just helping her. So they get her on this wheelchair. They put her in the hospital truck, and I sat up at the front. We got there in like at least like 5 minutes, and then we had gotten there. The receptionist, the lady at the desk, had asked me her birthday, and I had given them her birthday. I said, let me make sure that's her birthday. I need to get her ID out her purse because I don't really know my mom's purse like that. And the lady who was in the hospital truck exactly with us, I don't know if this sounds rude to some of y'all, but it sounded kind of rude to me, and it's just the way she said it. So she was like, How do you not know your own mother's birthday? And I was just sitting there like, sorry, like, I'm a little scared. Like, can you give me a second? And she had walked away to go, help. So I had called my dad before we got to the hospital. I said, Daddy, you need to come. And to the hospital, he was like, okay, I'm coming. I was waiting in that waiting room for like 2 hours, and then the doctor had came to me and he pulled me inside and he said, I'm sorry to say this. The moment he said, I'm sorry, I'm like, hold up, what is he about to say? And he said, I'm sorry, but your mother didn't make it. I'm like, so she passed away? And he's like, yeah. And I'm just like standing there like, that's crazy. My mommy didn't make it. My mommy, I was just home with her. She was just okay. And I go to the hospital and I find out that she died that day. That's like I was going crazy. Like, I could not stop crying. So my dad gets there. They both take us to see her in the hospital room. And I just like felt this weird feeling. I just felt awful because seeing her in that body bag, and she's no longer alive. She's not there. She's not my mommy. My mommy is gone. And I was just sitting there looking at my dad like, this has to be a living joke. There's no way this is real. There's no way this is real. I get home, I cried my heart out. I screamed my heart out. When I tell y'all I screamed my heart out, I screamed my heart out. Like, I was just tired. Yeah, so that was the story time of how my mom died. Bye, guys.
This is going to be the first part of my Get Ready With Me, where I tell you guys the story. This is going to be very, very long, but I feel like the things I need to touch on and express have to be expressed very well. Like, it has to be known. The backstory and background of everything and these people have to be known. So I've been best friends with this girl. Everybody who knows. Practically everybody who's going to be watching this knows who that person is. If you don't, you'll eventually find out. This person was my best friend. I've been best friends with her since like sophomore year. We've never fell out. Never fell out over a man. Never fell out over trust issues or like weird shit between us. We've only stopped talking, I think it was for maybe a year or maybe longer than a year, because she had a man, and during the time that she had a man, I was like in my wild stage, and it just like, we were just two different lives going on. So short story, we linked again. She broke up with her man. Then we just like ended up being best friends like all over again. Like, our lives were just like aligning at that point. Mind you, linking is like pretty much going all the way back. I think we linked in 2019, 2020, and now it's 2025. Like, we're 25 years old now. To get into more specifics, obviously, as it plays out, like, we move in with each other, and we move in with each other, I think, June of last year. So it's about to be a year once it hits June. Now, talking about the other person involved, like, this boy that I've been on and off with, I dated like a long time ago, been on and off since, nothing serious, just like linking here and there, never back in a relationship, like seriously, never redated, nothing. We're like linking again. Mind you, like, my specifics of that relationship never need to be told, because I feel like there's no point. Like, realistically, girls that get it when you go through a long ass, 3-4 years on and off in that weird toxic linking, not dating shit, you guys know what that is. Like, how that goes on, how it makes you feel, how sensitive the issue is. I have to elaborate on a lot of certain things and really express and touch on kind of the same things over and over again, because I think most people that don't understand, most people do understand. Like I said, most of the people on here are fucking watching me because they know me. Most of the people who don't know, like, I really have to get you guys to understand the dynamic of it. This is someone who's my best friend for so many years. This is my friend that practically knows the man just as much as I do, because as a best friend, I'm telling you everything that goes on. I'm telling you the way this person's making me feeling, everything he does to me, vice versa. Like, You know the man practically just as much as I do. And I think that's a very valid statement. Like, any best friend knows their man. Also, a couple more things to touch on, which makes the story and everything even more crazy, is this, not the same situation, but practically the same thing. Like, this person I was messing around with messed with one of my friends before, but when we weren't together or not in communication, has happened. Okay, and I cut that person off, never talked shit about her, never had beef with her, just respectfully told her, like, dude, as a friend, you're not loyal, like, I don't fuck with you. Even if I wasn't with him, you owe loyalty to me, you're my friend, therefore, practically that man should not even be in your mind. So I told her, like, respectfully, like, I don't fuck with you, and that's just it, like, we're just not friends anymore. And it was never beef, it was never, like, a constant issue where, like, when I'd see her, I'd talk shit about her, vice versa. It was just a genuine cutoff, and I think she understood it, and it was just whatever. I'm touching on that because this person was friends with me and my best friend that we're talking about now. So I cut this person off. My best friend at the time is telling me, like, yeah, this person, you're saying it how it should be. That person is wrong for doing what they did, and that's what it is. So this person also cuts that person off for what they did to me, knowing that's wrong. You get, like, what I'm getting at. Unfortunately for this person and the other person, both parties, guilty people don't know how to shut the fuck up. Honestly, like, that's what it feels like to me. Or if you guys want to flaunt it, that's fine, but it's really, guilty people cannot shut up. Guilty people are gonna eventually talk, and that's what got me to making the video now, is the fact that I know a lot of you guys out there know what happened or can kind of pick up on what happened, because I'm telling a lot of you guys, dude, everybody that knew her knew me. And I think a lot of people can pick up off the fact that they probably didn't know I was fucking around with this man for that long, especially because we broke up so long ago. Probably thought I wouldn't be dealing with this man, but if something were to happen between me and her, it had to be with him involved. And I promise you, I can clock that on hella multiple times. I've heard that. I knew something happened with specifically those two people, and that person had to be involved, because I'm not irrational. I don't cut off people all the fucking time. I've had the same friends for years. Yeah, I have new friends here and there, mutuals, but never close friends. All my close friends I've been friends with for so many years. So I think that everyone who knows me knows that I'm not irrational. Something really traumatic pretty much had to happen in order for me to make that decision to move out and never speak to these people ever again, and make the choice to not allow them in my life ever going forward. And that's why I say unfortunately for these people, because I'm not going on here. If I really wanted to do it out of pettiness or hurt or anything, I would have done it a long time ago. This situation happened in January, so we're almost like 4 months past it. I've been doing good. I've been living life. I don't have control over how someone views someone else's decisions. I'm just on here saying my part, because now this story has been told to multiple people, not because of me. I've only told, I think, about 4 people, not including none of my family. Obviously, my family's gonna ask questions, told them. I'm talking about 4 people that were not there that night. So even a lot of my friends, this is the first time you guys are hearing it. Close friends, a lot of my close friends still don't know this happened. They know something happened. They just don't know anything that happened that night. So if I really wanted to, and it really was coming from that place of heart, I would have told and got on here a long time ago. I'm coming on here because people are talking about it. I don't want the wrong story spread. I don't want to save anyone else's. I don't want to save anyone else's character. I feel like I've been doing it for a long time, and I feel like I don't have to anymore, especially now, because new stuff has been coming around, which I will be telling in here and showing pictures of. So yeah, go to part 2 and we'll get into the actual story of what happened. You guys are so mad too, because I already hurry up and got ready. I'm gonna have to do like multiple parts tomorrow also, but I'll start with everything else. I feel like I always have to give like a really detailed background of the situation, because it only makes sense to why. I literally mean it when I say this was meant to happen to me. So me and this man like always go out and drink, like just me and him, and we'll go places where like we don't really see nobody. Like it's most likely Scottsdale, and we go out alone every single time. I never invite friends. Like I think it's been a couple years low-key since he's hung out with my friends besides one other time at the apartment when we drank. But other than that, ever since like I had broken up with him, it was like, you can't be around my friends because you talk shit about my friends, and you just also said you don't want to be around them. That was like a major thing. Like, I don't want to be around your friends. So out of respect for him, like I never tell my friends to come with us when we're drinking. It's always just me and him. So it was gonna be a holiday on Monday, I believe, or was Sunday the holiday? I think Monday was the holiday, so we had Monday off, but it was a Sunday. So me and him like plan on going drinking, whatever. We go day drinking around like 2, and towards like 3, which is crazy, I am texting my friend Marty, and I'm like, hey, like you should come drinking with me. You're so mad because I was already like a little tipsy. Like I already knew her man was out drinking, which is also my friend, so I was like, you guys should come to Scottsdale, like it'll be more of a vibe. And I think at that time it's just like, fuck it. Which is crazy. So I took my shot and I freaking texted her and I was like, you're so mad, but would you want to come out here and drink? And ironically, she's like, dude, I'm so down. Like, I'll see if Andrew even wants to go though. Like, so they end up agreeing to come, and then me and my bestie are texting because we were texting, and I forgot exactly what, because I do have those messages still, but basically she was like, you told Andrew and Marty to meet you in Scottsdale, and I was like, yeah, but I'm with you. Like, if you want to come, I'll tell them to come. And I made that a very like specific point. I was saying that I made that a specific point because she doesn't like him, she talks shit about him. Same thing like goes on every single time he does something. Just as much as I'm talking shit about him, she's talking shit about him, how he's such a horrible person, I can't stand him, don't like him. Specific things that are coming out of this girl's mouth. And out of respect for my best friend, it's like, I know you don't want to come. Like, you don't want to be around this man. So I didn't. That's the vibes. Like, I didn't invite you, but knowing you and knowing me, I know you can come and ignore him, but be drinking with me. Like, that's the vibes. We knew the vibes. So she was like, no, I don't mind. So I was like, bet, I'll fucking tell. Which is crazy. Like, again, it all is like happens for a reason. We're talking about so many years I've been out with this man. So many years I've avoided inviting any of my friends or even asking him if my friends can come, like multiple times. Especially specific friends that do not like him. So I tell Andrew and Marty, like, hey, can you pick up to Scottsdale? Because obviously I'm not going to have my best friend drive alone to Scottsdale. Like, I want you to come when they come. Of course, thinking of how she's going to get here. I want her to come. She wants to come drink. Also, another crazy thing is usually all my friends, like, we spend all of our holidays together drinking usually. It's just like a thing we do. And it just so happened that 2 of my friends were doing dry January. So usually all of us go up as a group, like all 6 of us go out, just the 6 of us. And mind you, I'm taking her into consideration like hella. Like, this is my best friend. One, she knows I like to drink with her all the damn time. Like, bitch, you're the only one I enjoy drinking with, realistically. Like, just me and you alone, like 2 single girlies vibing, like with our friends, how it's always been. So I'm being considerate, like, dude, yeah, I do want you to drink with me, so if you don't care, like, I want you to come. I'm drunk, tipsy, thinking his vibes on, tell him my friends are coming. All of a sudden he's okay with it. Kind of had no choice at that point. Like, I was already telling my friends to come, and we're drinking, whatever. Okay. Another thing, my phone is dead. I think everybody who knows me knows my phone is always motherfucking dead. Like, every single time I'm out, it never fails. Like, my phone will die. It's either already dead when we go out, or it's gonna die when we're out. Which is another crazy thing. This man has never had, I don't think, any of my friends' number besides my guy friends' numbers. Like, maybe 2 of them. And not girls' numbers, okay? I have, like, me in my head, crazy again, I'm like, I'm gonna screenshot my phone and I'm gonna send it to him on his phone so that he can text her so we know where to meet at, because I'm texting obviously my friends like, I'm here or I'm going here. So I sent him her contact that night. So we drink, we vibe. I think we're probably out. I want to say I have to check the text messages again. If I'm incorrect, I'll fucking post another story of the correct receipts. I think we're out till like 11, because we had been drinking for a fat minute. Like, mind you, I think they got there at like 6-ish, 7-ish. We've been out, me and him have been out since like 3. So we've been out for a fat ass minute, drunk as fuck, and I honestly don't remember a lot because I am drunk as fuck, out of my mind, like having a good time with my friends and this man. And somewhere in the mix of that night, we decided to leave. Like, I don't know if it was my decision or we just all noticed we were hella drunk, like, let's go home. Don't know how it came to that point. I remember us, like, all going home, and because you're my best friend, I wanted to, like, vibe with you on the way home, vibes on. And we get in the car, and I forgot whose decision it was. Honestly, if it was mine, cool, like, I don't care. As a group, probably, we decided, like, let's continue drinking at the house. Mind you, it's me in her apartment, so we're telling our friends, like, let's all go meet at the apartment because it's on our side of town, and we'll meet up at the apartment and buy a bottle and drink more. So I want to say we got back to the apartment at like 11 something. I want to say it was definitely before 12. I have, again, the fucking text messages. I'll just have to check them. Marty, I think, she texted me here, like, we're outside, like, at the apartment. So anyways, we drink at the apartment, dude, for a fat ass minute. Like, we're drinking, we're vibing, we're all in the living room, like, talking, whatever we're doing. I had to check my messages right now to, like, figure out what time everything was, but I know I fell asleep at, like, 1 something. It had to be, like, 1 something, and when I fell asleep, I did the same thing I always do, and I don't tell nobody I go to bed. I say I'm going to the bathroom, or I don't even say anything. I get up, and I go in the room, and I knock out. So now we're at the point where it's just Marty, Drew, him, her are in the living room. So I'm dead asleep. Like, I don't give a fuck what the hell is going on in the living room. I am not the type of girl where I'm like, man, come to the room now too. Like, if I'm going to bed, you're going to bed. I don't give a fuck. I trust my friends. I'm going to sleep with or without y'all. Like, going to bed. So I'm asleep, dude, and I'll tell you everything that follows. But just think about this, okay? There's 4 of them in the living room still. The next thing I remember before even going to bed, like, I really genuinely don't remember going to bed. I know I went to bed though. I woke up in my room, and it's kind of hard to explain. I guess I'll explain my room in more detail. I woke up in my little tiny little outfit that I wore to the club, ass all out. I wake up to my light being on in my room, and the first thing I'm thinking is like, bro, why is my light on? And I'm already knowing it has to be hella late because it's quiet. And then I feel someone in the bed. Do I turn? No, because, like, my bed's this way. I'm at the edge of my bed facing the door. And I just, like, thought to myself, like, hey, whoever's in the bed, it has to be this man. Who else is going to be in my bed? Okay, don't mind the filter. Then my TikTok got reported hella times, so it kept on logging me out on Sunday, like, every 30 minutes. I was locked out for, like, a couple of hours, like 2 hours. Because it forced me to log out, but we're back on, and I'm gonna tell part 3. So like I said, I think you guys have to understand how my bedroom was. Basically, this is how my bedroom was in the apartment, except my vanity. Well, my vanity's in front of me too, but it was right across from my bed, and then my door was right here. And then from my door, I can see the kitchen. So I think I left off with the fact that I said I woke up, and obviously I didn't care to turn, like, my back, because I was sleeping, like, literally like this, like, as if I was laying in my bed right now. And I didn't care to turn my back to see who was in my bed, because obviously I'm thinking it's this man. So I basically woke up, and I was confused as fuck. Like, one, I'm not knowing what time it is. I'm just waking up, like, out of the blue. And what's crazy is, like, I never, ever, ever wake up, which I'm gonna elaborate on again. Like, I never wake up once I go to sleep dead, like, drunk as fuck. So I woke up, and I was laying in my room, my light was on. So when I'm laying there in my little outfit, my ass is all out, dude. I'm like this, like, in the corner of my bed. And I wake up, and I'm, like, thinking, because I'm hearing whispering because we're in an apartment, dude. You can tell when people are whispering through a wall. Mind you, I share the wall with the living room. So I'm hearing, like, people whispering really, really low, but I can hear, like, the vibrations through the wall. Mind you, my door is wide open, and I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, does this girl have a man over and she just left my door open with my ass all out? Like, why would she do that? So I'm sitting there listening, and I'm like, that's what I'm hearing. So I'm like, and then I heard that, and then I heard, like, giggling, like laughing a little bit, but quiet laugh, and then they're like talking again. So I was like, oh, this girl has a whole man over. She left my door open, and me in my head, I'm like, me and her are comfortable, like we're fucking close, and I'm just gonna go in there and be like, bitch, nicely though, like as a joke, like how we take our humor, like, bitch, you just left my door open, like I'm knocked out as fuck. So I get up, mind you, go straight out the door. I don't even look behind me, and I walk in there, and I have to also explain the way the living room's set up. So I walk in the living room, and where I'm facing is, I'm at the corner of the L. So the L's like this. I'm standing right here, and I'm facing the TV and the front door. I'm gonna try my best to explain the way they were sitting. So I walk in, and then her back is to me. I'm right behind her, and she's like, her legs are crossed like this. So her legs off the couch. One leg is on his legs, and she's like leaning over, like this is the back of the couch, so her elbows like on top of it, and she's like leaning, and he was sitting like slouched all the way, so that, say this is me facing him, he's facing this way so I can see half of his face, and he's like slouched in the couch all the way down, like his legs are all the way slouched off the couch, and he's like laying like this, so her arms like above him, and she's like right here, like they're like talking like this. Y'all have to really think about the vibes that are going on, because I'm walking in thinking something totally different's going on, that I'm not gonna see them two together. I'm thinking it's just gonna be, I don't even know who it's gonna be, but not thinking it's gonna be this. I walk in and I said, wait, what's going on? I said, what's going on or what's happening? I can't remember. I know only, that was the only thing I said. I did not yell. I just said literally in this tone, wait, what's going on? Silence. Literally as silent as it is now. Silence. Her back's to me. He's facing the door this way. Don't even look at me. They stopped talking, quiet. So I'm standing there for a couple of seconds, and I literally said, okay, because I'm in shock. Like, I'm not still thinking like, oh, you guys are doing this, that, and that's never came out of my mouth, which we're also gonna touch on. Ignores me again. So I felt awkward. Like, mind you, these are two people ignoring me. One's not even turning around and looking. They don't look at me. They stare at their laps. This living room's small. When I'm telling you, like, I could touch the back of her head from where I was standing, I could touch the back of her head from where I'm standing. So in my head, I'm like, who the fuck's in my bed? So I literally walked in my room. When I walk in the room, obviously I can see my full bed. It's literally my friend and her boyfriend sleeping on my bed. So I go in my room and I shove my guy friend off of the bed. Like, he literally rolls off the bed and wakes up, and he's like, what? And at that time, his girlfriend wakes up, who's also my friend. And I literally looked at him and I was like, please go in there. I'm whispering too, not even yelling. I said, please go in there. I think something's going on. I think I'm tripping. And he's like, what? And Marty's asking like, wait, what's going on? I said, can you guys please go out there? Like, in the living room, I literally think I'm gonna start tripping. I feel like I have to add in their perspectives right now, or else if I make another part, you guys are gonna keep on going back and forth on like what's happening. Basically, they're first, and mind you, I don't know, none of this is going on. This is not talked about until the next day. Literally the next day. He goes out there and he said that he asked them like, wait, what's happening? Like, what is Sienna talking about? And even him, like, he's not thinking what I'm thinking. He's just going out there because he thinks like I just woke him up being like, get the fuck out there, like something's happening, but not that. So I guess he went out there and he went all the way to the edge of the couch and he was like, wait, what's going on? Neither of them talked to him. Marty looked at me and she was like, Sienna, what's happening? I said, just go out there with Andrew. And at that point I was already shaking. Like, I didn't know what was happening. I really couldn't process nothing. So when my guy friend goes out there, my girlfriend was still in the room, like walking towards the door, and she's like, wait, what's going on, Sienna? And I was like, just go there and see what's going on. So I guess she goes out there and she asks why the couch was moved. And it's because the couch usually aligns with our living room wall, but it was pushed back. Like, our walkway was like more narrow than usual because the couch was pushed back. So she asked and they ignored her. And she looked at Andrew and they're both being quiet. So she got awkward and she came back in the room. And I'm gonna show you guys. I'm sitting like this on my bed, but obviously I'm more back there. And she comes in my room and she sits right in front of me, the same way I'm sitting, but facing me, like we're facing each other. And I'm shaking at this point because I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, shit's awkward. They're not talking to me. Like, guys, just imagine this. Like, this is just random. Like, two people not talking to me. My friends go in the living room. I'm sitting in my bed, like, shaking. At this point, I already called my mom. I literally, which is crazy, I never call my mom for nothing. Like, yeah, I'm close to my mom, but I don't call her just to call her, especially when I'm, like, drunk or anything. Like, never, ever, ever. I called my mom, didn't answer, called my mom again. Marty was like, Sienna, she was, like, sitting in front of me, and she was like, wait, what happened? Like, I need to know what you think is going on. And I looked at her, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, I'm confused. Like, I don't know what's happening right now. He walks in the room and against my wall, and he's like, quiet. So I looked at him and I was like, what? Like, well, what? And he was like, I don't know, Sienna. And I don't want to quote them either, dude. And I know he's just said something like, I don't know. And I said, did they talk to you? Did they say anything? And he was like, they're not talking to me. And I was like, okay, like, what the fuck is happening? And mind you, to you guys, this seems like it's going on for a long time. It's really not. Like, it's seconds. People are walking in and out. Whatever, walked in the living room, came out. I'm sitting there, called my mom twice. Andrew walked in. So then we're like whispering to each other. Mind you, we're still not even talking loud, because when we're having this conversation, they're still standing or doing whatever the hell they're doing in the living room. And my guy friend even asked me, like, when you walked in there, like, what did you see or what happened? I don't know, I just saw them sitting together. And he was like, they weren't sitting together. Like, when he walked in, they got up and stood in separate corners of the house and were quiet. So while we're having this little tiny quick conversation, he walks in my room, the guy walks in my room and sits behind me, like, against my headboard right here, like, lays down. Like, just lays down. Doesn't say a word. Walks past my guy friend, walks past my girlfriend, goes behind me, lays down. He literally lays down, does not say a word. None of us are talking in my room, okay? Pure silence. And I literally looked up, I don't know what's happening right now, like, honestly. And I was shaking, pissed. So I texted my friend, my other guy friend that lives in the same apartment complex as me. I called him and I said, you need to come over. And he was like, why, what happened? I said, can you just please come to the apartment? And then I texted him, and I even have that text message, which I'll show. And I said, you can come and tell me I'm tripping if I'm really tripping, like, deadass. So I'm gonna put the picture right here, and that was like at 3:22. So that means everything that was happening right now happened at like 3:15. Like, I promise you, it was not long that all that stuff happened. It happened literally like so quick. I'm gonna try to say this as quick as I can, and how crazy and how I literally think everything is meant to be, and how everything played out is crazy. Because the first thing is, like I said, I don't wake up drunk. And we're gonna talk about a situation that happened literally 2 weeks prior to this, where I did not wake up once when I was drunk at all until the next morning, which is a crazy follow up to the story. Also involving them too, also us being drunk and me going to bed. Also crazy that my friend, my girlfriend, and her boyfriend, which is my guy friend, they never sleep anywhere. They've never spent the night anywhere. We drink till literally the sun comes up and they still go home. Like, they're not those type of people to sleep anywhere. They're just never been like that. And it's so crazy how they ended up falling asleep, which I will also tell you guys the times they fell asleep and how, like, that whole night ended up getting to the point where they ended up in my bed. Also, I had to really touch on the fact that the whole entire time this is going on, I'm not thinking like, oh, you guys were doing something. That never came out of my mouth again. Never ever came out of my mouth. Not what I was thinking. I'm just thinking like, why am I getting vibes? Why are you guys ignoring me? Why is the tension in the air so fucking crazy? And I haven't even acted out, or you guys haven't even reacted to me. So anyways, I text him that, and we're sitting in the room quiet, us four quiet. And I literally told my guy friend, like, I'm gonna wait until he gets here, which is my other guy friend. And I know people are gonna ask questions on like why I told my other guy friend to come, but legit, I thought I was tripping. Like, I can admit sometimes I trip when I'm drunk, not like that, not in any situation like this, like tripping where I'm like arguing with my friends or my girlfriends or my guy friends. Yeah, but never like this. So something in me was like, he'll tell me if I'm dead ass tripping. Like, he has no filter, does not care. And he would set things like straight, like, oh no, you're fucking tripping, all you guys are tripping and making shit weird. So as we're sitting in there, she walks in the room, she stands behind my girlfriend, plays with like the back of my girlfriend's hair. It's quiet. We're all still sitting there, like, awkward, no one's talking. And she goes, literally with her head like this, she's like, I can't have a conversation. And I literally replied and I said, wait, what? And she said, I can't have a conversation. I can have a conversation if I want to. And I said, right. I said, no one said you can't have a conversation. I'm quiet, calm, no attitude, because I'm not even there. Like, I don't know what's happening. And I don't know why you're doing all this. We were just talking about his feelings. Even in person, I had to tell her, which we're also going to talk about, I had to tell her exactly what she said to me. And the way, the tone, the voice, everything, the way it came off to me. Quiet again. She walks out of the room. We're again, us four now in the room. Quiet. Like, what? And I literally looked at my girlfriend and I said, actually, like, what is happening right now? And I'm obviously shaking even more, and I literally turned, mind you, he's still in the room not talking. I literally looked at him and I said, what are you doing? Ignores me. And I said again, dude, literally, like, what are you doing? And I looked at my girlfriend because he's literally actively ignoring me while we're all sitting in this bed, like, my guy friend standing up watching the conversation. And he literally replied and he said, oh my God, rolling his eyes, oh my God, dude, we were just talking about my side of things. And I literally didn't even say anything. I looked at my girlfriend and I was like, I have to go. And I don't know what my girlfriend exactly said. I know she just said something like, okay, I'll be back, or put on, I don't know if I was like, I'm gonna put on my shoes, I want to go now, like I'm not even gonna wait for my guy friend to get here. But I know she got up, walked out of the room. I walked into my restroom, and then that's when my guy friend and his girlfriend walked into the house. They walked into the house, which I'm also gonna tell like their perspective of things and what happened and what played out. Well, I didn't know that was going on like outside of my door when she was out there like with them. And I walked past them. I was like, I need to go outside. Like, I'm gonna talk outside. Like, I'm literally about to flip out. So they followed me like around the outside of the house. We were like on the outside of the apartment. So I walked outside the apartment, went around the apartment like by the grass area. And I was shaking, and I told like my guy friend, like, this is what happened. And he even said like, I don't know exactly the words he said, but I know he just said like, okay, like I'm just gonna ask also what's going on. Like, that's just the type of friend he is. Like, he's gonna hear everybody else's perspective. He doesn't know what's going on. He didn't know we were asleep or awake, like drunk, not drunk, like doesn't know what's going on. So he goes, whatever. I'm standing next to his girlfriend. Also, I'm really close to her. Like, super, I don't even think I was really talking to her. I think I was just standing there silent, and I was like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like, actually, like, I'm about to flip. Like, that's literally what I felt like. I just remember him walking back, and he was walking back with my other guy friend, and I think all he said was, what do you want to do? And I was like, what do I want to do? Like, I want you guys to tell me I'm tripping. That's what I need. Like, did you talk to them? And he was like, I think you should just stay. Do you want to stay with me and my girlfriend tonight? And I was like, dude, why is he still sitting in my room as we're talking? That was like a whole thing in itself, because then I started flipping out and I was like, why am I standing outside of my own apartment and this man's just laying in my bed? Like, I'm really lost here. And my guy friends were basically like, I don't know, what do you want to do, Sienna? Like, keeping calm. And still, just as much as they're confused, I'm confused. No one is blatantly saying someone did something, but everyone's picking up on each other's vibes. And obviously the way they're presenting themselves and the way they're not speaking to no one already pretty much shows everything. So I'm standing there, and I'm not going to say who said it. Somebody said, she's crying. And I said, she's crying? Why is she crying? I'm lost. Like, why is she crying? And they were like, I don't know. And I was like, no, literally though, like, why is she crying? And I have to add that in there. That's not to just say her business, dude. Like I said, I'm gonna say the story how it was. That needs to be a key part in this, because there's no reason for her to be crying. She didn't get yelled at. No one's looking at her dirty. No one's accusing her of anything. And I literally said something like, does it look like I'm crying? Like, why is she crying? I'm literally lost. Mind you, because I did not yell the whole entire time. I was very calm and nice, and literally no words were exchanged. Like, literally the only conversation we had is the conversation we're literally talking about and the no responses they gave. So I literally said, like, I'm gonna get my stuff and kick him out and I'll leave. Like, whatever. Like, I'm not fucking staying here. So then I walked back in the apartment. Mind you, when I'm walking back into the apartment, she's standing outside by the front door crying. And my girlfriend's talking to her, and I look at them. She doesn't even look at me. Walk straight inside the apartment, straight to my room. He's still laying on my bed. And I said nicely, I said, you need to go. And he was like, what? And I was like, you need to go. And he was like, right now? And I was like, yeah, right now. Like, I'm not staying here, so you need to get up and leave. And he was like, oh, okay. So then he gets on the edge of bed, like, puts on his shoes, quiet, not talking to him. I'm staring at him the whole entire time, doesn't even look at me, doesn't talk to me. Puts on his shoes, stares at the floor. And I said, get up, like, right now. Oh, okay. Stood up, started walking, and I'm, like, following him out the door. So he's walking in front of me. I'm walking behind him. We walk out. He walks first out of the door, and she's standing right here outside of the front door. They don't look at each other. Like, don't make eye contact, look total separate ways. All my friends are standing outside too. And then he walks to the car, and I think the only thing he said to one of my guy friends was like, you good, bro? And then my guy friend was like, yeah, bro, we're good. And then he was like, all right. And then got in the car and then left. And then at that time, I told, like, my guy friend and his girlfriend, like, you need to take me to my mom's. Like, I need to go to my mom's right now. Mind you, I didn't really touch on why I called my mom, but I think something in my head was, like, she'll tell me if I'm fucking tripping. Like, my mom would not let me act a fool, like, do this whole big thing and with these two certain people. Like, I just needed someone to tell me I was tripping, and no one told me I was tripping. So I leave with my guy friend and his girlfriend, and
Okay, we're now gonna get into the fifth part of things. It's gonna get confusing because I'm gonna try to separate the people by videos. So this is now the next day, and I'm trying to figure out, like, still what's going on. Mind you, they have not talked to me. I'm talking to my friends, seeing, like, what happened. So the first thing we're talking about is, like, I asked when they went to bed. So I know I went to bed. My girlfriend said, I'm not even gonna lie, like, maybe 30 minutes after you, not too long after you, I went in your room to lay down because I knew that my man was gonna stay up, continuing drinking, and you already had went to bed. So I laid in bed with you, and I fell asleep. When she said she fell asleep, she said they were not sitting next to each other. Then my guy friend said not too long after that, he fell asleep. And he didn't mean to fall asleep. He walked in the room and he sat down like we were sleeping. So he was like, I'm going to lay down for a little bit to, like, sober up. And he was like, I was on TikTok, and he had fell asleep too. When he said he fell asleep, he said when he was in the living room with them, just them two, that they were not sitting next to each other, just like they weren't sitting next to each other when I fell asleep either. So the time that my friend said he went to bed means that they were in the living room for no less, the minimum amount that they were in that living room for was 30 minutes. So 30 minutes to 45 minutes, they were in that living room. Then we talk about the fact that my light was on. So I don't know if I said it in my other video, but my guy friend had asked, like, hey, was the light on when you woke up? Or did you turn it on when you woke up and walked out there? And I said, no, the light was on when I woke up. And he was like, well, when I went to bed, it was asleep. Like, it was when I went to bed, like, to lay in your bed, the light was off. So that means, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but for my light to be on, that means someone had to come in my room and either use the restroom or get a charger or something. But one of them, came in my room and turned on the light and forgot to turn it off, actively making the choice to still go sit in that living room after coming in the room and seeing 3 people sleeping. So we're now going to talk about what happened outside when my guy friend and his girlfriend first got there to meet me when I had called him. So she yells about that, and then she continues on to say he's weird. Ben told her that she's weird. Ben said he's weird. He likes my stuff, or he's been like my stuff. He's weird. It doesn't matter anyways. She's just gonna get back with him. She gets back with him all the time. My friends that are watching her say this, I think all 4 of them were outside, and I was the only one not outside. And yeah, they knew that I didn't know that. Not that just that she said that outside, that I didn't know that he was liking her stuff because the way she was saying it. So they told me, and I was confused because I'm like, I didn't know that. I had no idea. I don't know what she's talking about. Like, now I'm totally lost and confused. Even disregarding the fact that you're pretty much standing out there talking shit about me, saying the matter, she's always back with him, blah, 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 whatever. So I find that out the next day, and she texted me once asking if we can have a conversation, like, later on in the evening on Monday at like 4 or 5.
and I told her I'm not ready to have a conversation, and I'm gonna split up like his part separately. Like his whole everything that went on with him is gonna be in a separate video. So I literally let a whole week go by. Mind you, these two people are in no communication with me. They're not reaching out to me. I decide that next Sunday, so it's been a whole week, a whole Sunday later, I reach out to her and I'm like, hey, we need to have a conversation. Like, I think it's time for us to have a conversation. She agrees. We decide to meet up at the apartment, whatever. And at the time I was going through like a lot of back and forth. Like, did I want people there to watch us talk? Do I not want people there to watch us talk? Do I want my mom there? Do I want her mom there? Like, do I want people around us just in case she tells me some shit that's gonna tick me off and then I act crazy? But I decided not to because I respectfully didn't want to chance her not telling the truth. If something did happen, if someone was around, then I felt like she wouldn't be able to tell the truth. So I didn't want to risk that if that was the case. But I also was being very open-minded, like, hey, maybe I'll sit there and she'll tell me exactly what they talked about and exactly why they acted that way. Like, who knows? But that's just not the vibes I'm getting, especially because the way you guys acted, you guys were literally so mute. Like, we have to really touch on that, on the fact that you guys did not say one motherfucking word to me. And you guys were mute, quiet, awkward. The tension was so thick, dude, that even the couple that came later on could tell, like, what the hell is going on. Like, something happened, but no one's talking. So I'm not going to go into full detail of our conversation because the conversation was really not that long. Like, I'm literally going to put a picture here of how long the conversation lasted from the time that I got there, from the time that she had to leave, because she texted me the long paragraph when she left the apartment after we talked. Basically, I asked her a bunch of questions. She doesn't remember nothing. She doesn't remember a lot. She can't tell me specifically words from her mouth. She cannot tell me why she acted that way. Like, she was confused, and she had even told our other friend, like, I don't know why I acted like that. I don't know what got me to not talk or act awkward. Don't know. Asked her specific things like, why did I hear that? She doesn't know. What got them to sit closer? She said they didn't sit closer. I literally said, you guys sat closer. I asked her what they talked about. I said, do you remember anything you guys talked about? Like, any conversation? She said, I really can't remember. I don't know, maybe we talked about this guy, I'm not going to say his name, and some other things. And I said, do you remember talking about his feelings? And she was like, no. And I was like, well, that specifically came out of your mouth. She also could not recall the conversation and the tone of voice she was talking to me in the bedroom. She doesn't remember that. And then I asked her if she remembers what she told me outside, or what she said about me outside. Then she specifically remembers that. She said, I know what I said about you outside. So she did say that he said he was weird, and that she did say he's been liking her stuff. And she did say that she gets back with him all the time. So during the conversation, I said, so we need to talk about what you meant by he likes your stuff. Because you know that I don't know nothing about that. So sitting in front of you, I don't know what that even meant. So she basically said that, yeah, I fucked up. I know I fucked up. Like, I should have told you. Now I know, like, I should have told you sooner. But I don't know if she said he liked multiple, or if it was just on TikTok that he was liking her stuff. But she said that, yeah, like, he's been liking my TikToks. I asked how long ago. She said, I think 2 months ago. And I was like, that's crazy. Because, one, we live together. And two, another situation prior to this makes it even worse. And I'm going to try to explain that situation as fast as I can. But basically, we drank 2 weeks prior to what just happened. We drank 2 weeks ago. Me and her, we were drunk. And we wanted to keep on drinking. And I already had told her that the man I was talking to was going to come over. And me and him were going to drink alone. Or he was just going to come over, I think. And I don't even think we were going to drink. But she was like, no, let's keep on drinking. And I said, dude, I want to keep on drinking too. And we had seen someone in the club that she was like talking to, which is also like a family friend cousin. I was like, oh, tell him to come to the apartment, us four can drink. Like, my guy will be cool with it because it's us four. Like, there's another guy gonna be drinking with us because you two don't like each other, so it's gonna be more of a vibe if it's just us four. So I told the guy I'm talking to, like, hey, like, we're gonna go back to the apartment because we want to continue drinking, and another guy's gonna come with us to drink. Basically, the guy ends up canceling, so it's just me, my guy, and my bestie. And I even was like, do you want to continue drinking with us because you don't like him? And she said she didn't mind. Like, I don't care, dude. You know, I'll drink with you and I don't care about him. So I was like, okay, bet. So mind you, us three are drinking. We're all vibing. We're all talking in the kitchen, vibing. And I do the same thing, dude. I lie and I say I'm going to the bathroom and I fall asleep. So I went in the room, went to the bathroom, laid in my bed, fell asleep. I don't wake up until I feel him getting in bed. Mind you, all lights are off. I don't check my phone to see what time it is. Like, I just feel him getting in bed and I go back to sleep. The next morning, I walked in the kitchen. I'm not thinking shit. Like, I'm not over here like, oh my God, I think they did something, or what the hell, when did he go to bed, or blah, 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 whatever. I went in the kitchen. She came in the kitchen. We were talking. And then I was like, when the fuck did I go to bed? Because I was drunk as fuck. And she was like, yeah, you went to the room and you never came back out. And her and him continued to talk. She said they continued to talk, and basically she was getting a call. So she said that she was going to her room to, like, I'm going to my room, and then he went to your room.
Can you go a little faster? I have places to freaking be.
Basically, we're going to talk about his part of things now. So mind you, when he left that night, he doesn't talk to me, doesn't text me, doesn't reach out to me, nothing. Doesn't ask if I'm okay, right? He's moved ever since that night. So we're now talking about Monday. Monday around 4 p.m., I'm with one of my girlfriends because they come and pick me up, so, like, we can just talk about what happened. And he starts blowing on my phone, calling back to back to back to back to back. And one, that's weird. That's weird to me because you don't ever blow up my phone. One, like, why would you be blowing up my phone? And if nothing happened, it's giving like you're kind of scared. So he's blowing up my phone. I finally answered, and I told the girl I was with, I was like, you can listen to the whole conversation, because at this point, bro, you're not about to lie to me and say one thing on the phone thinking we're having a private conversation. Someone's gonna hear what you have to say. So he answered the phone and he asked, like, can I come over? And I said, come over for what? Mind you, weird, because he does not come over during the day. Mind you, during the week, during a day. Like, most random conversation we can have. Asked if he come over. I just basically was acting dumb, like, wait, why? Why do you need to come over? What's going on? And basically, you could tell he was getting super irritated at the fact that I was just playing dumb. So then it's kind of quiet on the phone, and then he specifically said, well, you didn't see or hear anything, so nothing even happened. You can't say anything happened. And I said, right. I never said ever. That has never came out of my mouth that I seen something. It has never came out of my mouth that I heard something. Like, nothing was ever even said. And he just basically was like, right, because you can't say you did, because you can't say you did. And I said, right, because you're going to tell me what I heard. Like, we haven't even talked about this situation. No one has ever even said blatantly, like, I think you guys were doing this, or I heard this. Like, nothing. So he was basically dumbfounded, like, didn't know what to fucking say. So all I said was, why was she crying? And he was like, what? And I was like, why was she crying? Quiet. I don't know. I said, don't you think that that's weird that she was crying? Because why would she cry? Like, if now you're saying nothing happened, but why was she crying? And he just stayed quiet, didn't know what to say. I said, exactly. So I don't know what you guys are doing, but the whole situation's weird, and you guys, like, aren't saying anything. And I hung up the phone. So then he blows up my phone, like, for a while after that, and then, like, an hour later, he leaves me alone. Don't talk to him all day. Later on that night, he ends up blowing up my phone again, and I'm with my other friend, Emily. On the phone with her, like, he was blowing it up for a fat ass minute, didn't stop blowing it up. So then I was like, you can listen to the conversation I'm about to have with him. So I answered the phone, and he's basically lying. Like, he's so quick to lie. And I even said on the phone call, like, you need to take a second before, when I'm asking you questions, to answer. Like, take your time to answer, because you're answering too quick and you don't even know what I know. And now that I'm checking you, you're like, oh, well, maybe that happened. Oh, well, I don't remember that. So just a couple things I'm going to touch on, and just, like, not get into detail about the conversation about, but specific things that came out of his mouth that just weren't adding up. So I basically asked him, like, why were you so quiet when I walked in the living room? Like, don't you think that was awkward? That whole situation was awkward, right? When I walked in the living room and you guys ignored me. And he said, you never walked in the living room. I said, I never walked in the living room. I said, do you remember my girlfriend and her man walking in the living room and also talking to you guys? No, he never came in the living room. I said, dude, to this man, I said, you're literally tripping. Like, we all walked into that living room. You're not gonna tell 3 people, let alone 1, me, lie on me, whatever. You're not going to say that all 3 of us didn't walk in that living room when all 3 of us are saying we individually walked in that living room. Then he continues to say, well, okay, well, when you came in there, I followed you straight into the room. I was like, so I did come into the living room. So why did you ignore me? Like, when I said something. He said, I didn't hear what you said. I said, so you now are admitting I said something to you, but you didn't hear what I said, so you ignore me. And he literally was like, yeah, I don't know what you said, but I followed you straight into the room. And I said, you did not follow me straight into the room, because that wouldn't make no sense. How did I have time to sit back in my room, call my mom, call my other guy friend, and how did my girlfriend have time to go in the living room and talk to you guys? I said, you're literally not making any sense. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I even asked, like, were you drunk? And he was like, no. I said, okay, you're specifically, those are words that came out of your mouth. You're saying you're not drunk, so therefore you cannot use the I don't remember, I was drunk, I don't remember card, whatever. So I was like, you're not drunk, but you're denying things that actually happened, that 3 people are saying happened, you're saying didn't happen. He was like, no, I'm not drunk. And I was like, okay, well, don't you think it was weird that she was crying? He was like, I don't know why she was crying. I was like, okay, well, she called you weird. And I said, she called you weird? And the first thing before I even got to be done with that, he literally said, no, she didn't. I said, dude, she literally was calling you weird. And he was like, no, she didn't. I said, you see how you're so quick to say no, 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 when you don't even know when she called you weird? You haven't even let me explain to you when that happened. So I said, she literally was calling you weird in front of my friends outside of the door while me and you were in the room. I said, yes, so yes, she did call you weird. So were you being weird? He's like, well, maybe she called me weird, but I don't know why she would call me that. So I was like, yeah, dude, I don't know what to tell you anymore, because you're literally lying. Like, actively on the phone, over the phone, you're lying, you're catching yourself up, you think I don't know anything. And I told him, I said, I think you really are hoping, knowing me, because when I get drunk, I forget shit, that I don't remember some of the stuff that happened, or I can't clock certain things that did happen. I think he thought I knew way less, or just didn't pay attention to what was going on more than he thought I knew. And I just basically said, dude, I literally am asking you and her to leave me the hell alone. Like, you guys please do whatever you guys need to come up with whatever story, or get your fucking story straight, or figure out what you guys do remember and don't remember to put the story together so you guys can talk to me. Because right now you guys are both not making sense, and I don't feel like talking to you because you're lying. Like, you're actually lying about stuff that happened when I was awake. We haven't even touched on what happened while you guys were sitting in the living room. So ever since that day, he stopped talking to me. I hung up the call. He has not reached out to me. He didn't reach out to me until maybe a month and a half ago. So this was after March. This was already 2 months into it happening, almost. And that's when he started trying to reach out again. We still haven't even talked about that conversation to this day. I refused from the start even. I literally solely only said I was going to have the conversation with this girl because that's literally the last chance I had. Like, that's the last hope I had for someone to tell me anything. And I was not about to play games with him because I've known him for so many years. He's the type of person that likes to figure out what you might know, then he will tell the story. Or he'll tell the truth once he figures out what you think might be going on, and then he'll tell the remainder or follow up on it. It's like he won't sit there and say, no, this did happen, no, this didn't happen. Mind you, those words never came out of neither one of those mouths. Last night, that night when it happened, if nothing happened, why didn't you guys just be like, oh, hey, what's up? Or, hey, you guys woke up? Or, hey, what the heck, like, you're up? No, you guys chose to act the way you guys did. It had to happen for some type of reason. For some reason that you guys still cannot explain to this day. So I just found out a couple weeks ago, I think it's almost a month ago, so it might have been like almost 2 months after the whole situation happened. Someone has came to me and told me that he has told them that he confessed to doing something and he fucked up really bad, and whatever he did with that person wasn't even worth it.
basically talking shit about the girl too. Like, whatever they did wasn't even worth doing it. And since he fucked up so bad already, he's just gonna continue to test the waters. One, it came from his own mouth, which I'm grateful, because at the end of the day, even if he could not say it to me directly, he couldn't hold it in, and he's confessed to someone, and he confessed to his own friends, which it came from. And I won't be name dropping who told me this specifically, because I don't think there's a reason to. I just think that person was morally correct. They knew it was morally incorrect not to at least tell me this, because they know him, and they know that if he confessed to them, that I probably didn't know the truth. Like, he would have never said that to my face, and which he never has, still doesn't, still won't, and that's totally fine.
They're gonna have to dismiss so many people before they find an unbiased jury. All they would have to do is pull up my TikTok and I would be immediately dismissed. I don't know anyone. That's not true. Actually, they could call my fiance and he would just be like, I have heard those names around our house, but I still don't, because I know he tunes it out because he's still sane. So.
Okay guys, we need to like debrief right now. I need to tell you guys what happened my Christmas Eve. Basically, I was driving from Florida to Virginia. We made a pit stop in South Carolina. I'm not gonna say the city. And where we were staying, across the hall from us, and some girl's boyfriend was mad at her. Okay, so yeah, this is all being dealt with like by the authorities right now, so I think it's okay to talk about, because like I told them everything I know. I honestly hope this doesn't go viral, because like that might be bad. I gotta look like alfalfa. I'm like low-key like getting scared with my words, because I don't necessarily know like what I'm allowed to say. Okay, so basically we were in South Carolina and we were staying at my friend's house just for the night, and we all went out to the bars, and this like wasn't in the safest area, this apartment, but her apartment was nice and everything was nice. It wasn't gated or anything, like nothing like that. So and it was in a bad area. So me and my sister get to our friend's house at her apartment at about like 7. So we're like, ooh, like we should like go out, we can get dinner. We'll be home early though, like we have to get up and drive to Virginia the next day. Okay, so basically we all go out and we're like, yeah, like it's gonna be an early night, but like we ended up having a lot of fun. So it was like around midnight and we're like, okay, we like really need to go home now. So we get home. Also, this is what happened on my self-tan today, so that's like cool. So we get home and everything's fine, everything's normal, you know, we're just like chilling. I go to sleep around like 1 a.m. Mind you, I'm like literally asleep on this girl's floor, like outside in her living room, because her and my sister were both talking, and I was like, okay, I need to get some sleep, and like I'm just gonna sleep right here. So I'm asleep on the living room floor with just a blanket and a decor pillow. When I tell you what I woke up to was like, I can't even like make this shit up. So I wake up to my blanket getting pulled off of me by my sister. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I look who she's giving it to, and she's literally giving it to this like a little 5-foot Latina that's sitting in the apartment and like shaking, scream crying. My sister's like literally cuddling this girl and like hugging her and shit, and like, so I'm just thinking like, all right, maybe it's one of the girls that we're staying with's friends, and she's like freaking out, like I don't know what's going on. So I get up and I start hugging her, and then next thing I know, like 5 cops come in the front door, and one of the cops is an interpreter that speaks English and Spanish, because this girl spoke English but like not very good, and she just starts like spitting rapid fire Spanish out loud, and like I'm so confused at this point, don't know what's happening. But the interpreter starts like saying out loud to the cops so that they can like write down everything that's happening. So we're like hearing this girl speak in Spanish, and then this interpreter say it, and then the cops are writing it down. There's just like a lot going on. But basically she starts telling the story of what happened. So again, this girl like lives across the hall from the place I was staying at. So she's telling the story that she was at this party
and they were salsa dancing, and she got passed off to like another guy to salsa dance with, and this, I don't know, fuck buddy, like, I don't know, friends with benefits, what this is, but this guy, like, gets really angry at her, and is, like, screaming at her, and, like, saying that he's gonna her later. So they're arguing at this party, whatever. She Ubers home alone, and she lives alone in that place. As she's walking up the stairs to her apartment, she thinks she beats him there. She's walking up the stairs at the same stairs that I walk up when I go into the one across the. She gets pulled from behind, choked from behind, gets dragged down the stairs by this guy, and he keeps saying that he's gonna her, like, all this stuff, like, he's choking her, he's spitting in her face, like, and this, I know all this from everything that she was saying, like, spitting rapid fire Spanish, what the interpreter was saying out loud, so the other cops could write it down, and we're all just sitting there like, this is the first time I know what's going on. Okay, and so then she finally gets into her apartment, like, kicking him out, and he goes down to his car. What do you think he's gonna get? So he comes back up, and she's trying to shove his stuff out of the apartment and didn't know he was coming. I don't really know. But I guess when she was trying to shove his stuff out of her apartment, he got inside the door. And my sister and my friend that were awake at the time kind of, like, heard stuff that was going on outside, so they were the ones that called 911 when this was happening. And that's when I, like, kind of figured out, like, what it all was going on. Because they were, like, hearing stuff in the hallway, and they were looking out the peephole, and they saw, like, people getting pushed down the stairs and stuff, and, like, this girl, I guess, was in her house, like, screaming for her life when they went inside, like, screaming bloody murder. So my sister and my friend went downstairs, and they ended up calling the police. But as this girl's telling this story to the police, and the interpreter's, like, saying stuff out loud, she's saying that he's gonna her, and, like, smashing her head into the walls, and just, like, all this stuff, choking her, like, crazy stuff. And I guess he also had a gun. And I guess this girl, like, cuts her own hair, because so they're in the bathroom, and she was trying to get whatever she could to, like, get him. And she picked up her scissors that she uses to cut her hair, stabbed him in the hand, stabbed him in the stomach, and the thigh. So this was a bloodbath. And then she saw the cop lights outside, and she ran to the balcony, and she was waving, and the cops came up really, really fast. So the cops ended up actually arresting that guy, taking him away, and that's when the girl was left in the hallway, like, in a ball, like, freaking out, having a panic attack. And that's when my sister and my sister's friend that lives there opened their door and was like, come inside, like, just come inside. Because she was, like, literally left in the middle of the floor, and she was, like, in a little dress, and, like, it was just, like, not like, good. Like, you don't want to just be left there. So that's when they invited her in. So this is when the cops were, like, trying to figure everything out, and I do have pictures of what her apartment looked like, because she took us in there after everything settled down, and I took pictures because I don't think the cops did, and I sent them to her, like, so that she could use it in trial. I don't know if I'm allowed to share it on TikTok. It's pretty graphic, so I don't know. Maybe I can show, like, a little, like. And the next day when I was driving, I was telling my boyfriend and, like, my mom and stuff what happened, and, like, telling the story so many times and looking at the pictures, I had to pull over on the highway, and, like, I was projectiling just because of, like, how crazy it was, and this girl was, like, fighting for her life. Mind you, I'm also, like, literally asleep for this entire thing until my blanket's getting pulled off me, like, okay. I did forget to mention that when she was in the Uber, which I don't know why the Uber driver didn't do anything, but he was calling her, and he was saying, like, you better fucking get home, because I'm gonna fucking you, like, he kept saying it over and over, like, I'm gonna fucking you. It's also, like, really sad, because, like, she was, like, she was, like, shaking and crying as she's telling the story, and, like, they were having a really hard time understanding her, so they were, like, telling her to, like, slow down and stuff, but, like, this was, like, so fresh in her mind, like, it just happened, so, like, I felt, like, really bad for her, and they were, like, shining flashlights, like, at her neck and stuff, and, like, to see if there's, like, bruises, which there was all over, but it's just, like, that was just sad, and, like, I cannot imagine if we didn't call the cops, well, I was asleep. If my sister didn't call the cops, like, what would have happened in that apartment, like, freaks me out so much. And usually the cops take a while, but the cops came in about like 4 minutes, so that's another thing that was really, really good for that situation. So that was my Christmas Eve. I can't even imagine what that girl is going through right now. So yeah, now it's New Year's Eve. Hopefully she's doing better. I don't think I'm gonna show the pictures, because if I'm pulling over and throwing up on the highway and throwing up while looking at them, I don't know what you guys would think. Also, I just don't want police to show up at my front door and it's literally so illegal to have those. Maybe it's legal to do what I'm doing right now. I don't think so though, okay? Because the cops were right there, so. Okay, hair reveal after all that, just like casually. Whoa, 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 whoa. 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 If you really want to see the pictures and I'm friends with you, you can text me and maybe I'm not gonna show you them. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but yeah, just text me. Okay, sorry, this was 10 minutes. Bye.